This is Into Healing, and I'm your host, Mira Adura. Today's Into Healing guest is Jaymie Orozco Howard. Jaymie founded Danzversity, a studio where she proudly touts as a place to dance and express, not impress. In our chat, Jaymie weaves together her Mexican family's strongly rooted legacy and love of dance with culture, connection, social diversity, biodiversity, global perspectives, and everything in between. Jaymie wants nothing more than for everyone to feel the healing powers of dance. One of her favorite sayings, "If you have a body, you can dance," is a serious reminder to shake what our mamas gave us. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and follow us for more transformational healing stories. I have been just so moved by the way you teach and your presence and everything that you stand for. And I grew up in ballet. At the time, I thought I loved it. And it's taken me a long time to realize how constricting that was and how controlling of the body that was. And when I see the way you teach and I see what you embody, it just brings me to tears. It's just so beautiful. So I'm just so excited to get into this topic with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your kind words. Man, where do we begin?
Let's start at the beginning.
Sure.
Can you tell us about your personal history with dance? How did dance come into your life? And let's start there.
Sure. Dance, let's see. First, it is rooted in my Latin roots and with my family. I know my mom said when she was younger, she was at the disco partying, dancing. She's one of 9 brothers and sisters, and they would all go and dance. And so...
and this is in America?
Yes. But, they would actually go in El Paso and Juarez, which is in Mexico. So they would cross the border and go dance there and then cross back and dance here. But so I do know, seeing my mom dance, seeing my family dance, my grandmother especially, that was my influence of what dance should feel like. And it was always at our house parties or our fiestas or quinceañeras or weddings. And it was never restrictive. It was never judgmental. It was, or constrictive. It was freedom. It was celebration. It was gathering. It was social. And, often when we were down, my grandma would just say, "Baila, mija, baila," and it would lift me up, and I would get up and start dancing, and so would the rest of my family. And so growing up, seeing that, feeling that, I knew that was something I needed in my life all the time. And I wanted others to share that same feeling with movement and dance and not feel restricted or judged because of not having the training or, not feeling that their body is capable of moving. And so with that, I decided in my heart at the age of 16 that one day I would have a dance school. And that was when I was 16. And I put it out there in the universe, and, the rest is the rest of the story. But the background of my dance is that from the family roots and seeing the joy around me really inspired me. And so continued just, having fun through that process. My parents never put me in dance class or anything. It was mainly social wherever we would go. I started choreographing quinceañeras when I was 15. I did my own, and then my cousins, and then their friends, and I started this little business of choreography. I didn't even know it was a business, really.
But you started getting paid to teach.
Yes, absolutely. And so then, I was like, okay, this is really turning into something. I took, after I graduated college or high school, I thought I wanted to major in dance, but then that was veered another way because everyone said, well, you'll never be able to make a living being a dance teacher. And that was constantly fed to me. It was like, oh, creatives, artists, you guys, don't do that, And so I kind of went more towards, okay, let me do my teaching degree. Still took some dance in college. However, I still felt the competitiveness that I didn't like ever within me as I was moving. I always felt judged, not good enough because I didn't train in dance when I was little. I didn't look the part or didn't have the, technique that was required for those in college who have taken years and years of training. And so although it's beautiful and if you're going to train in your artistry, I respect that highly. But for me and my body, I wanted to feel the joy I felt from my home and the celebrations that we did as a family and just watching everyone smile as they moved, without judgment. And so after feeling that through college and getting my teaching degree, I taught in public and private schools for a while. And as you know, teaching is, it's another art form. It really is. And impacting lives as well, especially for children, is a huge responsibility. And I always felt the need to have them move during class, and get up and feel their bodies and not just be sitting, learning and doing the repetition every class. And so from there, I said, why don't I combine my teaching philosophy and background with my love of dance and create my own curriculum, my own school, my own belief system, and really start there. And so Danzversity after school program was created.
Amazing.
And I started at an international school, and they welcomed it, because we talk a lot about cultural awareness in class. It's not just dance. It's about learning different cultures, where dance comes from around the world. Not only around the world, but your world. What do you have to offer? What expressions can you do without feeling restricted? And so it was embraced by the community. Parents loved seeing their little ones, on the dance floor doing all the things. And from there, my husband said, I was like, should we launch full time? And my husband said, if you want to, let's do this. And so we launched, and I left teaching full time and went to Danzversity full time and building the creative curriculum that I've always dreamed of. And so here we are.
Beautiful. I love it.
Sure.
How is your dance school, Danzversity? How is it different?
Danzversity is its own world. It's its own ecosystem of the three roots that I'd like to mention. And it revolves around dance diversity, history, and culture, which means that cultural awareness is huge through dance. And it's important for other cultures to know that dance is a universal language. And when we're together in a room celebrating, doesn't matter where you're from, we're connecting. And you don't have to speak my language, I don't have to speak yours, but we are universally communicating through this energetic exchange of movement. And so that is one of the roots that we definitely, every class is aligned with root one. Root two is biodiversity and planet health. So with our movement and with just being an awesome human in this world. It's our responsibility to contribute to planet health. And so everyone that purchases a dance class at Danzversity goes towards our Planting Tree Foundation. And so right now we have over 600 trees planted. And we're continuing that movement. I think it's important. Again, movement is energy. So although we think of dance as separate, we're all connected. And so planet health and biodiversity is a topic that revolves in our kids' classes. We talk about it. And it's just a conversation that we have to keep continuing to have.
Yep.
And then 3 is social diversity and global perspectives. So like what's going on in the world around us? Let's talk, let's communicate, let's express. Dance is storytelling. And so through social diversity, we can tell stories through movement, through dance, concept videos that really send messages to the world. And again, more than dance, it is an energetic conversation and exchange that connects us all. And so those are our 3 roots that embody Danzversity and what we stand for.
How do you live that mission in the world?
Living the mission is being a role model and truly applying those roots that were created from my heart for society, because I feel that is something that is lacking in society, is cultural awareness, is planet health, is social perspectives. The more we can unite in those conversations, the more people can realize that, yes, we have differences, but more than anything, we are very similar. And there's so much anger, there's so much collective uncertainty floating around, I feel. And so how do we break down those layers of anger and uncertainty? And it's having these conversations. And usually you may say having these conversations through verbalizing, but why don't we have them through movement? So those that do try to come and experience dance for the first time, or are uncertain and don't know what to expect from movement, or do have experience, but this is a completely different energy exchange. I hope that they feel that energy as they enter the space. And so even a little tiny seed, just a little bit, impacts culture, impacts society, impacts lives. And that is my whole goal, is to impact people's lives, empower people, empower you to be a better human being.
You're doing it.
And so are you.
I remember once watching you teach 4 to 6-year-old kids, and you asked them to dance a color. And you said, the color blue, dance the color blue. What's the relationship between dance and color?
So just like a rainbow, just like life, right? We all have phases. We all have different colors that we go through in our daily lives. And asking the children to reflect, and not everybody has the same color meaning, right? So blue for someone could mean relaxation, while someone else says blue is, coming from a place of sadness, But I think it's important to allow you to kind of feel colors, because in our daily lives, we go through so many emotions. Mm-hmm. And if you did pick a color for each one, it would be a rainbow. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I feel like allowing the kiddos to express through colors really helps them solidify what emotions they're pulling from. And so, by giving them that freedom of expression and creation and reflective thinking, creative thinking, it just activates, so many different layers of what they really have inside.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of what they have inside, what's the relationship between dance and feeling?
So dance and feeling is the same thing, really. Mm. And, when you hear the phrase, you dance through life, it really is about moving through your feelings. And when we talked about colors and feelings, it is similarly in the same way, is that every day we are moving, every day we are feeling, right? And so even the smallest of movements have meaning. And so when we are able to activate those feelings through movement, whether it's on your daily movement or through expressing through social dance or taking a class, it is important for us to release. And so giving yourself permission to feel, giving yourself permission to move without feeling restricted, allows your feelings to be carried through the way they're supposed to. And as we know, when we sit all day and we suppress our feelings, it stays stagnant, and that becomes stress balls, it becomes headaches, it becomes other illnesses, body aches and pains from not opening your body, for not releasing what you need to. And so it's extremely important that we dance, we move, we feel, and they're connected.
Yeah, dance is such a powerful way to move any stuck energies in the body.
It is.
Yeah. I've heard you say that dance is the healer of all healers. What do you mean by that?
Wow. It's when you said that, I don't know, I had this vision of dance being a goddess of energy, and it's universal. It's a universal language. It is part of our being and part of our existence. And it's not just physical, right? We're made of atoms and cells, and this is constantly moving. We are meant to move. And so dance is the healer of all healers, because it is able to move every part of our existence. And I stay true to that. I mean, it helps in so many ways. You can take it back to, historically to now, dance, it's a power. It's a power. And not that those who are not dancing don't have power. No, I'm saying dance is a power that we have access to. No matter your ability, no matter where you are, where you're from, it is there for us. And I feel like if the world could dance more, we would be a lot more peaceful. Because we can move through our emotions, we can move through our feelings, we can communicate even when we're angry through nonverbal communication, and it would be a form of expression. Not this, tight, built up anger where when you burst out, it's, impactful in the negative way. And so it is a very powerful spiritual energy that exists.
How do we heal through dance? Like, what's happening? Like, why is it a healer?
If you break down dance and you look at it as more of an energy, right? Energy is movement, and we are movement. And whether we feel, sad or angry or depressed, it has the ability to enter whoever is experiencing it and allow the body to release. And when you're dancing, I always say, like, sweat it out. Sweat out those toxins. Sweat out that built up static energy that you have inside your body. And so when you dance, automatically you are already allowing energy to enter your body and clear and cleanse. And, just like water cleanses, right? Movement cleanses.
I love that.
And so if you look at it as a cleanse, right? When you're dancing, it's this release of energy through your entire body, out through your fingertips, out through the tops of your head, through your toes, through your feet, through your chest.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
You told me dance is movement. It's what we are born to do, the gift that we have been given. For those who find it intimidating and say, I can't dance, what would you tell them?
Again, dance has no judgment. And so the fear of dance has been given to us, unfortunately, by societal standards of what it should and should not look like. But if you break it down and you go to, the first findings of dance, 8,000 BC, on Indian cave storytelling and writings, it is part of their daily life that is documented. It is storytelling. It is ceremonial. It is, part of our existence. And so when you feel fear from movement, you need to take it back and say, but I am moving every day. This motion right here, I'm going to take a sip. That is a movement. That is a dance form. And so, there is no wrong move. There is no wrong move. It is a language, an energy that we need to break those walls of fear. And I'm trying to do that little by little. But it also starts with allowing the kids to not develop that fear. And that's, a lot of our trauma, right? From childhood, of being restricted, being compared to, being judged, being, laughed at or bullied because we didn't do it a certain way. But what is that certain way?
Yeah, and who made those rules?
Who made those rules? Exactly. And so, to anyone listening, when you have that fear and that, oh, I don't want to dance, or, oh, I'm just going to stand and watch, I want you to remember that you are energy, you are movement. And once you release and you find that spark in you, you will never go back. So I want to get everyone up and dancing right now.
What is dance here to teach us, and what has it taught you?
I mean, there's so many lessons, so many things we can take from it. But I think the main thing that I would like to share with everyone is, and I keep repeating this, it is a universal language. I'm going to keep saying that because so many people right away put borders on their culture, their way of dance, their standards, their, But if we take that away, we take all those layers away, your movement and my movement and anyone else's movement together is a conversation. And so it is teaching us that we are more alike than different. It is teaching us that we can unite, we can communicate, we can collaborate, we can listen and follow. We can have this conversation. And where many verbally, it can turn into a very toxic exchange of information and misinformation and misinterpretation. And with dance, it is so freeing and liberating that you could actually story tell and have a conversation without words and completely understand each other. And by the end of it, have a similarity in that we both had this exchange. We're both human, and we're leaving with what needed to be said. And so for the world, this is what we're lacking, is true communication with each other, because one doesn't listen, or one overwhelms with information, or one only wants their side and doesn't have an open mind for the other side. And so, dance being non-judgmental and dance being such a powerful tool for unity, this is what it teaches us.
To come together.
To come together. Yeah.
Healer of all healers.
It is.
You've said dance is our roots and our connection to spirits and ancestors. How?
When you look at dance, and specifically, for example, I just went to a powwow last week, and the power from the dancers entering the room, and the drums and the flute and the singing, I had so many chills through my entire body because of the unity and the life force that they brought through their dance. And so as they came in, they came in with incense, they came in with sage, they came in and respected all the directions of, nature, exactly. And respected the drums and the singing, the connection to the roots with their feet. I felt it. I felt it so deep. And so dance traditionally has been used ceremonially for prayer, for religion, for celebration, for, gathering, for for calling ancestors, for activating the spirits and thanking and being grateful. And so, again, it's energy. And so just that alone in itself, when you feel it, it's accessing something beyond you.
When we were chatting previously, You talked a lot about how dance is accessed through our feet and the importance of our feet. Can you just talk about that a little bit? What's the importance of our feet in connecting and in dance?
When we dance, and I know maybe, I don't know if you've heard before, that when you are barefoot, connected to the nature and earth, it actually rejuvenates your body, because that is the natural state of where we should be, connected to nature. And so when you are grounded and when you are tapping into nature, connecting with nature, feeling present as you place your feet, stand your ground, it's able to carry that energy through your entire body and out. Just like a tree has roots, we do as well. And so when we apply that energy to, actually, if we look at ourselves like trees, which we are, right? Our feet are the roots. And so when we're able to connect with those roots, we are more stable, we are more confident. When I teach, I always have to remind those following to stay grounded, to bend your knees, to get closer to the earth. That is our natural state. And so it's interesting in ballet, which, again, respected art form, but you are lifted from being grounded. And so our feet are meant to carry us through life. It is energetically an exchange when you are presently stepping to allow yourself to be carried through movement, through dance, through life, through wherever it is that your journey takes you. But our feet are our roots, and we should remember that more. And if we haven't walked in nature barefoot, I'd encourage you to do so. And I know rocks as you feel and sticks as you feel, it may not feel comfortable at first, but it's also a natural form of acupuncture. And so as you allow yourself to connect and rest and really be grounded with the earth as one, you become one with. And so, roots.
Yeah, I love that. Whenever I feel ungrounded, I always joke with my partner that I want him to dig me a hole so I can just sit in it.
Exactly.
But it's like, yeah, our bodies crave grounding.
Absolutely.
Because everything's trying to just toss us around all day long.
It is.
Yeah. In Mexican culture, you celebrate the ancestors with Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
What is the role of dance in healing through death and grief?
The word death is often a scary thing for many people. For Dia de los Muertos, it's a celebration. It is paying respect to our ancestors and those who have lived on. Death is a form of life. And although we as a society see death as the end, sometimes it is actually the beginning of another life force. And so I think that's another wall we need to not fear, is that although we know where our path, with that word, with where our path usually ends, it is a celebration instead. And so, you know, when we're allowed to celebrate and we're allowed to, you know, embrace. And I know for my grandmother's passing, she told all of us she wanted us to wear blue. And so we all wore different shades of blue. And it's a color I'll never forget now, because that was what she wanted. And you know, we danced. She wanted us to dance. And we danced. And I still feel her around me every time I dance. And she is just this magical being. And speaking of activating ancestors and those who have passed on, you know, when I dance, I feel my grandma with me, you know, and she is my inspiration. And she, you know, has carried me through times. And so, again, back to what I was saying, like, we need to embrace and celebrate and really understand that, you know, although the word seems scary, as a culture, it is more than the end.
Your grandma was sick, and there was a lot of grief moving through you during, you know, her last weeks, months. What was the role of dance through that process? How did dance help you move through all that?
Cancer and the phases of it is so scary, especially when you're watching someone you love go through those phases. And there were times where we knew that she was in so much pain. She, you know, she couldn't eat, she couldn't speak very well. But when we were all there, we would turn on her favorite songs and she would get up and move with us. And when I talk about pain, you know, the pain, I can't even express to you how much pain she was in, but the fact that she was able to get up and move and dance and laugh during her last moments is something I'll never, ever forget. And there were moments where she refused to eat, she refused to speak, she couldn't get out of bed, but there was one thing that always brought us together and always rejuvenated her no matter what she was feeling. And it was like that little tiny spark of energy that would activate. And it was when we would play her favorite songs and she couldn't stand up, but she would move her arms. And she would smile, and we could all feel a sense of relief in that moment for her. Just that moment. But she was a rock for our family, and you know, dance was so embraced in our culture that moments without dance for her was unheard of. And so sharing those final moments with her and seeing that through her, you know, hardest times and most painful times is just that much more powerful, in that you can be suffering and hurting so hard and deep, but moments that uplift you in sharing one thing we can all do together, and that's dance and move and laugh and those beautiful times.
I know we touched on this a little bit in a few different answers, but what's the connection between dance and joy? Why are they so interconnected?
So when you dance, immediately your body and brain activate endorphins. And so it's this release of, again, happiness, excitement. What is the word? Yeah, it like frees you almost, right? It just liberates you from so many things that you've held in. And so, you know, if it's not joy, it's releasing other things, but mostly joy. And it's you know, connected to your release. And so when we do release everything we're holding in, what is left?
Joy.
Joy. Yeah.
I love that so much. It's so true.
Yes.
It's so true. It's hard to dance and not feel joy by the end of it.
Right?
Even if you go in with so much baggage, you come out
With the smile.
Yeah.
And a weight off your shoulders. And tension gone, you know? And so, again, the healer of all healers.
Your little daughter will watch this one day. Is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to share with her?
I was thinking about this on the plane, actually, and just feeling like I want to show her to be strong, to be brave and courageous, and to dance without limits. I want her to know that there is creativity and that the world is full of so many colors, and that it's important to be yourself and be authentic and genuine and connect and embrace humanity. And, you know, I would love for her to continue this journey, and I hope she's inspired to continue, because it is necessary work that needs to be done. Seeds of how to be a better human, seeds of connectedness, seeds of, you know, understanding each other, meeting each other halfway. In our classes with the kids, I'm constantly asking them a reflection question. And so every time we start, it's, you know, what have you done this week? What kind thing have you done for someone this week? You know, or how would you deal with anger in this situation? Or what can you tell someone who's not feeling well? You know, these questions, especially for kids, allows them to think critically and really open up their voice. And, you know, again, it's planting seeds of how we can all be better humans on this planet.
And you do that also for older kids and adults, not just for kids.
Yes. And often a question before class is something to ground us and something that we can all verbalize that allows us to know, hey,
I got you.
Yeah, I got you.
Anything else we haven't covered that you'd like to share?
I would like to just leave in that, movement offers so much, and it offers healing individually and healing collectively. And you can heal individually as you're collectively moving and sharing this energy exchange, but you can also heal through movement separately. And it is such a powerful thing that I would encourage everybody to turn up the music and dance. And that could be in your car, in your kitchen, your backyard, with your family, by yourself, with your friends. There is no limit. And the more we can move our stresses out, the more we are able to interact peacefully with each other. And I wish that for the world.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jaymie. I'm so grateful to you. So beautiful. I love everything that you're about, and I hope the whole world dances soon.
Yes, thank you. This is a blessing that you've invited me to share and speak my voice. I've felt like I haven't been able to really share my thoughts on movement and dance to the world. So thank you for this opportunity. It means the world, really. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And everything that you've said to me reflects to you and the work that you're doing, and you're a huge inspiration to me, and wonderful, powerful woman that we all need to look up to and do our part. And we're doing it.
We are doing it every day,
thank
little
you.
by little.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. You can connect with Into Healing on TikTok and Instagram for more inspirational and behind-the-scenes content, and visit our website, intohealing.com, for transcripts and other goodies. Into Healing is made possible thanks to people like you. Contributions made through Venmo @IntoHealing or through our website, intohealing.com, help us bring you more inspiring episodes. This has been Into Healing with Mira Adura. Thank you for joining us.